Tonight, reduced resources for laid-off workers.
The ones that are 50 years old, you have to go find a job with the way the economy is now.
The potential repercussions when retraining supports get shut down. Plus, 2 ops in 1.
This is a really exciting and innovative operation.
LHSC's new cardiac procedure called a world first. And rising to new heights.
Somebody has to get out of it to prove that it's possible to get out.
Youth Opportunities Unlimited, celebrating success stories.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest developments in the police investigation near Western University. Police now say additional search warrants have been carried out in Ottawa and Quebec. No further details on those warrants have been provided, like what police were looking for or whether anything was found. Here in London, they've charged 4 people after a trespassing investigation on campus last weekend led them to a nearby home. A loaded gun and potentially explosive chemicals were discovered. Police say the suspects are between 21 and 27 years old from London and Ottawa. They've given no timeline for how long they expect to maintain their investigative presence in the area. London police have identified the suspect and victim in a fatal shooting from last weekend. The shooting happened early Sunday morning near the Palace Theatre on Dundas Street. Police say they've laid numerous charges against 26-year-old Matthew Yusufi, including second-degree murder. 2 men were shot. Both were taken to hospital. Police say 26-year-old Ramon Thomas from Toronto did not survive. They say Yusufi remains in custody with a court appearance set for next week. Ontario's NDP leader was in London today, calling on the provincial government to extend support services for local workers facing layoffs. There are concerns once the Action Centre closes in a matter of days, there will be nowhere offering critical retraining resources. Brian Bicknell reports.
It's a lifeline for unemployed auto plant workers, but now this action center is winding down, leaving soon-to-be laid-off workers wondering how they'll prepare to re-enter the job market.
The ones that are 50 years old, you got 15 years before you can even look at retirement, and you have to go find a job with the way the economy is now.
According to Unifor Local 27, the action center is slated to close February 9th. It comes as the local auto sector braces for more layoffs. Parts maker Autoneum announced earlier this month it's consolidating operations into its Tilsonburg plant over the course of the year, leaving more than 130 London employees out of work. This action centre opened with the closure of the Accuride plant here in London just about 1 year ago. Now, with more laid-off workers coming from Autoneum, union leadership fears this is just the beginning. The union is calling on the provincial government to extend the action centre to accommodate future layoffs from Autoneum and elsewhere.
My fear is it's going to get bigger. It's not just going to be auto. You can kind of see the signs. I've been in this for a while, and you see the signs coming.
Unifor was joined on Friday by NDP leader Marit Stiles and local MPPs to talk about ongoing layoffs. She says she'll pressure the Ford government on the action centre.
It's my job as the leader of the opposition to continue to pressure the government to take action quickly. A Workers' Action Centre is a really good example of that. There's something they could do today and just give them the comfort of knowing that the Workers' Action Centre is going to be there for them.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
In a statement issued late this afternoon, officials in the Labour Minister's office say they are working directly with Unifor to transition the existing Action Centre into a so-called power centre that will ensure workers and the community are supported. More than 1,000 workers are out of a job today in Oshawa after their final shift at the GM plant. Union leaders say more than 500 direct jobs at the facility are affected, plus hundreds more at companies supplying the factory. They say GM is shifting operations to the U.S. under pressure from the U.S. trade war. The layoffs were originally announced last May as tariffs on Canadian-built vehicles were imposed.
Members are scared. The morale's terrible in the plant right now. You know, they're worried about how they're going to pay their bills. provide for their families. You know, it's scary. It's not good right now inside that plant.
Premier Doug Ford has called the layoffs disappointing, insisting he has a plan to support the affected workers.
Good evening. I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. We're looking at extreme cold. It's the wind chill, what it will feel like early tomorrow morning. Areas shaded in blue, as you can see, City of London due east towards the GTA and beyond. Minus 25, say, at around 4 or 5 a.m. And then it's still cold in the minus teens, minus low 20s, as this area of low pressure continues to funnel that cold air from the north right across the Great Lakes. There's chance for some flurries, too, but some relatively warmer temperatures are coming. I'll break that down just ahead. For now, I'll send it back to you. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Gary. City officials say there's been another delay in opening up a micro-shelter community near the 401 in Highbury. It was supposed to open this weekend, but they now say the site won't be ready for occupancy until sometime next week. There are 50 prefabricated shelters on the lot designed to house up to 70 people. It was originally supposed to open earlier this month, but that was pushed back because of the harsh weather conditions. A new men's-only drug and alcohol treatment center is set to open in London next week.
Our goal and our mission is to get to a point where 75% occupancy is for men from EAP groups, insurance and private pay, and 25% of the occupancy are guests that are covered by the costs and profits from the other. And they will be men from London and the surrounding areas that are able to access the services at no cost.
The 20-bed facility is located at Queens Avenue in William, offering a 28-day recovery program. Officials say patients will have a regimented routine, participating in a variety of activities like yoga, meditation, mentorship groups, and counseling. They say they hope they can expand capacity in the years ahead as well.
I would like to see London come together and use a space like this in a positive direction so that we can have a brighter future for all of us and help the men that are in it to find a way back to a good path.
Staff at London Health Sciences Centre say they're making medical history as the first hospital in the world to complete a pair of complex heart procedures in a single surgery. Rita Ismail has more on the process and a warning: some of the visuals in this story are graphic.
A groundbreaking operation using new innovative devices was performed by cardiac surgeon Dr. Michael Chu at London Health Sciences Centre.
This is a really exciting and innovative operation where we were able to do a very complex, extensive aortic reconstruction. So the main pipe that comes out of the heart, and rebuilding the rest of her aorta in a much less invasive way.
While components of the operation have been performed before, conducting the challenging procedures together has never been done.
We've been fortunate here at Western University and London Health Sciences Centre to be leaders in both of these operations, the frozen elephant trunk reconstruction and sort of novel, advanced, innovative ways to rebuild the aortic arch. And we've also been leaders with the Ross operation as well. So it's a matter of putting different components together and then figuring out ways to make the operation more efficient so that patients can experience both at the same time.
First patient Angela had been living for years with a life-threatening connective tissue disorder, undergoing multiple emergency heart surgeries. She says the impact of this surgery has been life-changing.
I feel grateful, optimistic. I mean, even more so. I was optimistic before, but even more so now, because now I get to plan for family vacations. I can plan more things that I can do away from home. And I can look forward to, future, my daughter getting married or her graduating from university.
LHSC says the world's first procedure offers new hope for patients with complex aortic disease and reinforces London's growing reputation as a leader in advanced cardiac care.
It's incredibly gratifying. This is why we do this. We've been able to offer her a significantly increased survival from a couple of years out to 20 or 30 years. It's life-changing for her and her family.
Hospital officials say the approach could reduce the need for multiple surgeries and improve long-term outcomes for patients worldwide. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
City Councillor Elizabeth Pelosa is opening up about her experience undergoing breast cancer surgery last month. She spoke with Daryl Newcomb today about her prognosis and what it means for her political future.
Councillor Elizabeth Pelosa, widely respected at City Hall as hardworking, compassionate, and blunt, is announcing a recent diagnosis with her typical candor.
Breast cancer. Didn't see it coming, haven't been a smoker, used to run full marathons to raise money for charity. Just doing a self-exam, thought I felt something.
Pelosa underwent breast cancer surgery in December, only days after chairing 2026 budget deliberations. The results of subsequent tests have all been clear. She's feeling healthy, but acknowledges there's still a journey ahead.
A treatment plan involving radiation for sure. If chemo's on the table, I don't know. I'll wait for the doctors to give me that information. I will follow it.
Pelosa has several critical roles at City Hall in addition to being the Ward 12 councillor. She chairs 3 committee meetings, including serving as London's budget chair. She's also a mother of 3 and sits on several external agencies, boards, and commissions. She isn't planning to take any specific time off from her duties at City Hall, but will be taking each day as they come. And as for the upcoming election, she reconfirms her intention to run for a 3rd term serving Ward 12.
We might just see a little bit of difference in door canvassing, maybe a few more ice cream socials where residents on a street come to me and a neighbor hosts me versus waiting for people at each door.
She credits early detection for her good prognosis and encourages everyone to get their regular screenings.
It's so important that those in your life go and get checked, and if you think there's something, don't shy away from it.
Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Surprise and sadness in Hollywood today after the death of renowned Canadian performer Catherine O'Hara. Her representatives say she died at her home in Los Angeles after a brief illness. And with more on her career spanning parts of 6 decades and the legacy she leaves behind, here's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
Do we set the timers on the lights?
Considered a cultural trailblazer and the queen of improv,
Kevin!
Catherine O'Hara had a rare ability to give complex and often eccentric characters depth and humanity. A craft she mastered at the famed improv theater Second City in her hometown of Toronto. She started there waiting tables.
Want to fall in love?
But in 1974, her love for acting would land her a role on the hugely successful Second City television.
Gonna be a frosty snow girl. I'm gonna deck your halls.
She had no formal training, but O'Hara's enthusiastic spirit and determination quickly made her an award-winning star in Canada.
If you don't let me gut out this house and make it my own, I will go insane and I will take you with me.
Propelling her to international fame with roles in hit movies from Beetlejuice.
Oh, what the? God, are you all right?
To the mockumentary comedy film Best in Show.
I sense there's something in the wind.
And the cult classic animated movie The Nightmare Before Christmas.
My bag, it's gone.
But one of the roles she's best known for, Moira Rose in the hit show Schitt's Creek.
Crocodile back to what my mother gave me.
Her performance in the Canadian production was met with critical acclaim and garnered her multiple acting awards.
I would love to stand up here and tell you this was all just a walk in the cake, but it wasn't.
At one of her last appearances at TIFF just 4 months ago, O'Hara thanked her longtime friend and colleague, Eugene Levy.
When I think of my happiest days in this adventure and show business, I realize most of them have been with you.
An adventure in show business that spanned more than 50 years. O'Hara was 71. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Youth Opportunities Unlimited hosted its annual breakfast this morning, packing RBC Place, raising money for programming and sharing success stories. And Sean Irvin has more on one story in particular highlighted today.
Captivated faces at the 20th annual YOU breakfast are compelled by a young man's journey from despair on the streets of London to the heights of success, literally. Today, Trent Burke employs a half-dozen people who make the windows of London's tallest buildings shine. But as a 13-year-old, Trent's window on the world was blurred in turmoil.
My parents' marriage had disintegrated. My mother was so stressed out with the fallout and taking care of my 2 younger sisters, I became the proverbial sacrificial lamb.
Within a few short years, Trent would be on his own and a new father.
I was a homeless, traumatized, and now drug-addicted street kid.
His addiction would last a decade, but throughout that time, he found a way to make money.
And I was cleaning the storefronts downtown. I looked up at the buildings and I said to my friends, I'm going to clean all of these buildings one day. I'm going to hang off of every single one of these buildings.
Leaving drugs behind, Trent lived up to his pledge and today is inspired to help other young people struggling with addiction.
Somebody has to get out of it to prove that it's possible to get out of it.
Through his message, he hopes leaders in the Forest City find compassion for all youth.
And they were all children once. You know, it doesn't really matter how old they are. I think that's somebody's daughter.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
When we come back, a new front on the American trade war, why the U.S. president is now targeting our aircraft industry. Plus, Pierre Poilievre fighting for his political survival. The Conservative Party voting tonight on his leadership.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Bombardier shares took a nosedive today following a new threat from the U.S. president over certification and tariffs. With more on the fallout on the markets and in Ottawa, here's Mike LeCouture.
Bombardier's Global 8000 is billed as the world's fastest civil aircraft since the Concorde. But it could be grounded in the U.S. as President Donald Trump targets the Quebec company as apparent retribution over the certification of an American jet in Canada. On Truth Social, Trump wrote the U.S. was decertifying their Bombardier Global Expresses and all aircraft made in Canada until such time as Gulfstream, a great American company, is fully certified. Gulfstream is a direct competitor of Bombardier, and industry experts point out there are reasons Canada has been holding off.
The U.S. has certified the Gulfstream 700 and the 800 with exemptions to look at that aircraft not being certified for very cold weather operations because of fuel line problems.
In response to the threat of decertifying Canadian aircraft, Bombardier said in a statement, thousands of private and civilian jets built in Canada fly in the U.S. every day. We hope this is quickly resolved to avoid a significant impact to air traffic and the flying public. But it remains unclear if the U.S. president even has the authority to decertify aircraft.
The only way that the type certificate can be revoked is if there is a safety issue with the aircraft.
Now, this is just the latest salvo in the ongoing trade war, which has seen Trump ramp up his rhetoric against Canada following the Prime Minister's visit to China.
You can't look at China as the answer.
In a statement about the threat, Minister Steve McKinnon said Transport Canada officials are in communication with their U.S. counterparts, and the Canadian government is actively working on this situation. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre faces a leadership review tonight in Calgary. Party delegates will vote on his future hours after delivering what could be one of the most important speeches of his political career. With more, here's Jeremy Sherrill.
Well, the busiest day of this Calgary Conservative Convention now underway here, with all eyes on a big leadership vote this evening. Delegates here selected to represent Conservative members from ridings across the country will vote later today on whether Pierre Poilievre should remain the leader of the federal Conservative Party. This leadership test comes as a result of the Conservative Party's loss in the last federal election. It is widely expected that Mr. Poilievre will achieve a positive result. We've been speaking with delegates, some of whom know exactly where they stand already. Others aren't quite sure yet.
Do you support Mr. Poilievre as the leader?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, 100%.
It's still, you know, when you go behind that curtain, it's still your private franchise, and you decide as you will at that time. So that's why I came to the convention to get a sense of what's happening.
Now, we're told Mr. Poilievre met with his caucus this morning ahead of his leadership review. Conservative Senator Denise Batters was at that meeting.
I'm glad to see that Pierre has taken that part of our process very seriously because, as you may recall, after the previous election, I had to bring a petition to try to force pressure on Mr. O'Toole to have a leadership review, and that's what I was asking for. And meanwhile, Pierre not only has the review, but has it at a very early stage.
Now, several Conservative MPs have taken the stage behind me here to address the crowd. All of them have hit on two kind of key themes. The first being what the party believes to be a positive result in the last election, a success in the last election, by increasing their seat count, despite the fact, of course, they did not form government. The other is that all of them were clear that they believe the best path forward for the Conservative Party is with Pierre Poilievre at the helm. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Calgary.
Preparations are underway in Wyerton for the 70th annual Groundhog Day festivities. Before Monday's official prediction, there's a weekend full of activities planned, including sleigh rides, an outdoor carnival, and a chili cook-off. The Groundhog's forecast is scheduled for just after 8 a.m. Monday. If the superstition holds, Wyerton Willie could see his shadow, and that would mean 6 more weeks of winter. No shadow would indicate an earlier spring on the way. We'll have live coverage of the event on our website starting at 7:30 Monday morning. Bringing in our weather expert tonight. Ahead of Monday, Gary Archibald, maybe a little preview of what to expect on Monday.
Yes, indeed, Carlyle. I'm hoping for temperatures actually to moderate just a bit. They've been somewhat uncivilized of late to go along with the heavy snowfall we've seen across parts of southern Ontario. Today, case in point, was yet another day where temperatures were several degrees below average for daytime highs and lows. Look at this, minus 12 versus an average high of minus 3. Minus 21 at 4 a.m. felt like minus 30. And that's why we're still looking at an extreme cold alert or warning for the city of London due east towards the GTA. When you combine the winds with the ambient temperature, and this is a look at gusts, so peak winds within an hour time frame, sustained winds will actually be lower. So this is good news because the higher the winds, the colder it will feel. It's still cold right now, minus 13 at the airport. We're looking at partly cloudy conditions. It feels like minus 21 right now. So what's in store in terms of snow and wind over the next, say, 8 to 12 hours? There's a chance that westerlies and northwesterlies fetching across Lake Huron will continue to bring some light snow across the eastern shores of Lake Huron, maybe 1 to 5 centimeters, depending on where you are, anywhere from, say, Goderich northward to Kincardine, Southampton. For our friends in Hanover and Shelburne, Mount Forest, 1 to 3 centimeters of snow is possible. A light dusting for the city of London itself, Stratford, Ontario. For anyone in the Listowel area, maybe 1 to 2 centimeters of snowfall. It's very light over the next, say, half day. And beyond that, we'll see some sunshine for Sunday. So there's some good news. And temperatures and the winds are subsiding in terms of their intensity. Although it's cold tonight into tomorrow, and by midnight we're down to minus 17, feeling like about minus 24. We'll get through it. And look at this, minus 7 for Sunday after a very chilly start. It's possible Sunday morning before dawn will be in that minus 25 category as well. But at least it will be sunny for the rest of the day. Flurries on Monday, high of minus 6, and then minus 5 and cloudy by Tuesday. We're headed in the right direction. A little colder Wednesday, but fair. And then flurries Thursday, Friday, minus 6, followed by minus 3. Not bad. Minus 3 would be average for this time of the year. The Midwest, a similar looking forecast, very cold tomorrow morning. Flurries, a possibility. If you're in the Grey Bruce area, that's where upwards of 5 centimeters could definitely be a possibility by the early afternoon. Then sunny and warming up, relatively speaking, on Sunday. Monday through to Friday next week, we'll see temperatures in the mid-minus single digits or thereabouts with cloudy conditions throughout and a chance of flurries. Again, the warning in place that We're talking about extreme cold, minus 25 to minus 30 pre-dawn, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. So do take care.
All right, Gary, thanks very much. Still ahead, social media ads that turn out to be nothing more than a scam, all the while generating profit for the platform.
What are the most commonly used words in country music? Do you have any guesses? Join me on the iHeartRadio Pure Country Countdown this weekend, where we take a look at the list and take a look at the brand new album on the way from Luke Combs. Join me Saturday at 9 and Sunday at 4.
New numbers today show Canada's economy maintaining stability. According to the latest government data, Canada's gross domestic product was essentially unchanged in November. That follows a slight decline of 0.3% in October. Contractions in goods-producing industries offset expansions in the services sector. Bruce County officials are offering more than $100,000 in grants to spruce up downtown areas. The Spruce the Bruce campaign offers $125,000 for local businesses and municipalities. Business owners can use the money for facade improvements, while municipalities can use it to improve community signage. Applications open on Monday. A new investigation into social media advertising has found a major platform is earning billions of dollars connected to fraudulent activity. As Pat Foran reports, many of the ads seen on sites like Facebook are complete scams.
We interviewed a woman who lost $1.7 million in a cryptocurrency investment scam. She invested her life savings after seeing a fake Elon Musk video on Facebook.
I don't have no retirement saving. Everything is gone.
There are many products featured on Facebook and Instagram that you should be cautious about buying or even believing they're legitimate.
We found ads and posts that promoted the use of some supplements that are dangerous or even illegal.
Consumer Reports says people have complained their credit card information has been stolen trying to buy products on Instagram that never arrived. And sometimes when they do arrive, they look nothing like what was advertised.
People reached out to us. Yeah, I saw this ad on Facebook. Seemed too good to be true. And guess what? It was.
Reuters says its investigation found that a large number of ads on Meta's social media sites were scams served up to users by Meta's algorithm.
We always knew there were some fraudulent ads there, but they did a deep dive and said that up to 10% of the company's global revenue was coming for ads for scams or for other illegal activity.
According to Reuters, Meta was aware of the problem but undercut efforts to stop it while projecting roughly $16 billion in earnings from scam ads. In a statement to Consumer Reports, Meta said, "We aggressively fight fraud and scams," and said the documents Reuters relied on present a selective view that distorts Meta's approach to fraud. In response to claims that 10% of its revenue was generated by scam ads, Meta says that number was based on a rough estimate, and subsequent audits found many of the ads were not violating its terms and conditions. So what should you do? Short of swearing off social media, take steps to protect yourself, be skeptical, and if an ad looks suspicious, report it. Treat ads for unbelievable deals with extreme caution, as chances are they're scams. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Venezuela's acting president has signed a law opening the nation's oil sector to privatization in accordance with President Donald Trump's wishes. The law reverses a key part of the self-proclaimed socialist movement, which has ruled the country for more than 2 decades. Trump has said he wants to control Venezuela's oil sales and revenues indefinitely after U.S. forces seized the country's leader, Nicolas Maduro, earlier this month. President Trump is now threatening to impose additional tariffs on countries supplying oil to Cuba, declaring a national security emergency over the issue. Canada's Federal Court of Appeal has overturned a lower court decision keeping the federal government's single-use plastic ban in place. The 3-judge panel ruled unanimously, determining the federal government's decision to list manufactured plastic items as toxic was reasonable. The government defined toxic as substances capable of harming the environment or biological diversity. In 2023, a lower court had ruled the feds overstepped in making that designation. The parties involved now have 60 days to ask the Supreme Court for a final ruling. Canada's main stock index dropped sharply as the next nominee to lead the U.S. Federal Reserve prompted a sell-off in precious metals. The TSX plunged almost 1,100 points. In New York, the Dow lost 179, the Nasdaq down 223. The Canadian dollar fell a quarter cent today. On commodity markets, gold sank more than $600 an ounce. Oil lost 21 cents a barrel. Still to come, Jeremy Hansen's Artemis 2 moon mission has been delayed again. Details on the new potential launch date. Welcome back. Environment Canada officials have revealed just how much snow has fallen in parts of our region already this winter. In Wyerton, they say 343 centimeters of snow has fallen. That's well on track to surpass the total snowfall from last winter, 385 centimeters. Owen Sound is also nearing last year's snow totals already. And all that snow has led to 15 snow days this school year for students in Grey Bruce. City staff in Stratford say a new warming center has been a crucial refuge from the cold for many people. Jeff Pickle has more on the impact just a few weeks after first opening.
So these are storage bins that are accessible by any individual who is unhoused.
A stack of tote bins with the belongings of the 20-plus people coming here to stay out of the cold.
So right from the beginning, I think we had 10 people our first night, and it's just steadily grown from there.
With the recent cold snap, staff say their numbers have jumped from 15 people per night to consistently over 20.
So really the warming center is about keeping people safe and warm in those overnight hours.
The warming center has no beds. It's not technically a shelter. It's a made-in-Stratford solution to create a warm space for people to spend the night.
A couple of years ago, one of our outreach workers actually found one of our participants laying in a snowbank, and he was near hypothermic. He was really struggling, and we were able to bring him in and get connected to supports and ensure that, his safety wasn't at risk any longer.
Staff say the reality is, without the warming center, many of their clients would be forced to sleep outside in areas like this.
We can provide them a space to be safe and to be warm, and yeah, in some cases that is life-saving. So I think that I can confidently say that the ER is likely seeing far fewer people overnight.
The Canadian Mental Health Association, who help run the facility, say they hope the space is not a permanent fixture.
We've recognized a deep need for supportive housing in this community, and it's being built. But while that's happening, we realize that there's a bit of work that needs to be done to keep people safe and warm.
But they say until permanent homes can be found, this humble space is critical.
So we're very, very fortunate to have this space, and we appreciate it. But I think the number of people that we are seeing shows that there's going to be a need for expansion. There's going to be a need for increased services.
The Stratford Council of Churches is hosting a fundraising campaign starting in March to fund the warming center for as long as it's required. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Stratford.
A warning from Owen Sound fire officials. New CO alarm regulations are now in effect. As of January 1st, carbon monoxide alarms are mandatory on every floor of a home. Previously, they were only mandatory outside sleeping areas, a rule that was introduced back in 2001.
So carbon monoxide moves equally through the air, right? So if it leaks in the basement, your HVAC system is going to push it all through your house. So it's just good to notify you early, right? If there's a leak, it can get out of control pretty quick. And the earlier detection, the safer you are in your home.
An Ontario charity with ties to an autism housing facility in Lucan is under OPP investigation. The organization, Jake's House, received money from a scandal-plagued government fund. With more on the results of W5's own investigation, here's John Woodward.
Jake's House was a resource for families with autistic children, offering housing in a facility north of London, Ontario, and community.
It's a wonderful opportunity for families who have members that have autism.
That facility closed last year after Ontario's Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services ended a $9.3 million funding agreement with the charity. The 27 residents sent packing.
I wish we could stay here for another couple of years. But it's really emotional to me.
Exactly why that funding was pulled was a mystery then, but this week it emerged that Ontario's Treasury Board Secretariat had conducted an audit and referred its findings to the Ontario Provincial Police. which said in a statement they were looking into transfer payments from the ministry, including finances and contracts. Founders Irenka and David Bodanis didn't return CTV's messages for comment. Last year, the charity's executive director insisted she knew of no good reason to be concerned about its finances.
We've done a lot of really good things here at the home, and it's absolutely heartbreaking.
At the time, Jake's House was also receiving $3.5 million from Ontario's Controversial Skills Development Fund, the same fund under a microscope by the legislature's Integrity Commissioner, looking into whether Labour Minister David Piccini played favourites while doling out grants to his party's friends and donors. It's the second police investigation into a Skills Development Fund recipient. Jake's House was also featured in a W5 series in 2024, looking into clothing donation bins. Through tracking, W5 found that a company collecting donated clothes on the charity's behalf packaged and sold them in bales, some ending up as far away as North Africa. Ontario's opposition leader accusing the province of failing to do proper due diligence into organizations before committing millions of dollars. A government spokesperson says it acted when its standards weren't met, saying the active investigation into this organization demonstrates that these accountability processes are working. Jake's House had plans to reopen. Now its operations are controlled by a receiver in a process supervised by Ontario's Superior Court. John Woodward, CTV News.
The mission carrying London-born astronaut Jeremy Hansen around the moon has been delayed. The first crewed Artemis flight won't take off until February 8th at the earliest. That's 2 days later than its most recent launch date because of near-freezing temperatures in the forecast. A crucial fueling test is now expected on Monday, while the 4 crew members remain in quarantine in Houston. At this point, there's no public timeline on their arrival at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Because of the lunar cycle, there are only a handful of days per month available to NASA to successfully launch the first crewed moon mission in more than 50 years. Monday on CTV News, Groundhog Day in Wyerton. All the festivities as Willie makes his annual prediction. Is an early spring on the cards, or will it be 6 more weeks of winter? Monday on CTV News at 6.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to John Morse for this great winter scenic. We're looking at very cold temperatures through the overnight for the weekend. We could see values down to -20, and the wind chill, what it will feel like, could be -25 to -30. That's early Saturday morning and again for Sunday morning. The weekend, we'll see some sunshine, and daytime temperatures, although below seasonal, will still be headed in the right direction as we look towards next week.
A technique in treating brain cancer, first attempted at a Toronto hospital 2 decades ago, is now being scaled nationwide. As Pauline Chan reports, it's meant to avoid using radiation on a baby's developing brain and has shown promising results.
To be honest, the only thing I remember was like waking up in the morning just to get like the pokes in my Omaya.
CJ Brown was just 2 when he was diagnosed with a lethal brain tumor known as ATRT. And when he didn't respond fully to surgery and chemotherapy, Dr. Annie Huang faced a dilemma. She could use radiation to destroy the tumor in his brain, but she had seen the devastating effects radiation typically had on a young, rapidly developing brain.
They're completely dependent. So we do them a disservice. We've cured their tumor, but we've left them with a life that's not what they should have had.
But she had seen good results in leukemia patients of a different technique, and she hoped she could modify it to get chemotherapy directly to the brain and cerebrospinal fluid.
I was just hoping, to buy them some time.
The technique, using something called an Omaya reservoir, bought CJ not just time, but a healthy, normal childhood.
The kid's looking at you, having lunch, whatever, you pop it and you put the chemo in. So that way they don't have to be anesthetized.
Now they're beginning to use this approach in centers across Canada.
We've now started to extrapolate to other types of cancers that arise in these very young children. So the majority are still going to be ATRT, but we have some other tumors called ETMR, which is somewhat of a different flavor, but also, in fact, more aggressive than ATRT.
Dr. Huang says more sophisticated technology now is allowing them to better identify and track the cancers and their response to the therapy.
Well, it feels good for me to know it helps other kids.
And CJ, now a healthy, cancer-free 20-year-old, is happy his childhood challenges have inspired hope for others. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Israeli officials say they will reopen a key border crossing on Sunday. Israel seized the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt in May 2024. Reopening it was an important requirement under the first phase of President Trump's plan to stop the violence in the Gaza Strip. Starting Sunday, people will be allowed through, but no cargo. The Israelis have not said how many people will be allowed to cross each day, but the return of residents from Egypt to Gaza will be coordinated with Egypt. A high-profile American journalist was arrested through an investigation into an anti-immigration protest in Minnesota. Don Lemon and 3 other people were taken into custody following his coverage of a protest that disrupted a church service in St. Paul on January 18th. He was later arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles, where he had been covering the Grammy Awards. It is unclear what charge or charges Lemon and the others face, but his lawyer says he will fight them vigorously. Murder and weapon charges have been dismissed in the case against the man accused of killing an American healthcare CEO. That means Luigi Mangione no longer faces the death penalty if convicted. He still faces 2 counts of stalking, which could still lead to a life sentence without parole. The 27-year-old is accused of killing the health insurance executive in December 2024. A trial is expected to begin in October. The recent cold in New York City caused a leaky pipe to turn into a frozen waterfall directly above a parked delivery van. This is what the scene looked like yesterday after the ice built up overnight, locking the vehicle in place. According to local media, city crews showed up with tools manually chipping away at the ice, trying to get the van free.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
I am Sherry Flick, host of Weekend Spotlight, Saturday mornings, 8 a.m., right here on CTV London. This week, we're going to sit down with London's own country singer-songwriter, Amanda Keel. She has a new release coming out this weekend. We will also talk internet safety, so important for the parents that gave their kids electronics for Christmas. And we're going to talk to Museum London about all the amazing camps they have going on. That and more this Saturday, 8 a.m.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a pizza shop in Windsor that's being forced to close a week after first opening. It wasn't for a lack of business, though. In fact, quite the opposite. Robert Lothian reports.
In a city where the pie is already divided, Windsor's newest pizza joint is having no trouble cutting a slice of its own.
Like, the response has been insane. The craziest thing I've ever been a part of.
Since opening last week, Dean Litzter's Professor Zaz has had trouble keeping its doors open for all the right reasons.
The weather was quite poor, cold, snowy conditions, like a snowstorm. There's 40 people waiting outside. We had enough stuff for 2 days. They bought it all in one day.
Repeat sellouts forced the longtime pizza chef to toss in new measures. Bakers overnight to prep the dough and moving to walk-in orders only.
So we had 3,500 missed calls on Saturday, and that's insane.
Some customers making multiple trips just to get a slice.
I came because I found out this place is new, and they ran out of slices already on the first day. So I came back today in the morning and they said they have slices.
So in Windsor, where pizza is king and shops are in abundance, what's the draw to Professor Zaz?
We saw it on Facebook. It looked amazing. I think first I heard it from my mother, who heard it from my brother. And when I went to tell my girlfriend about it, she's like, oh, I already know all about this.
I keep seeing it on Instagram a lot of the time, and half the time it was on Facebook.
My mom showed me it on Facebook, and it had some really good reviews.
The power of social media is helping draw in more customers, plus a take on a pizza style that's formed quite the reputation across the river.
I saw someone who had the Detroit style, and I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be good.
So it's cool to see how just across the river you're trying to Detroit style, because not too much over here.
A thick rectangular pie, Detroit-style pizza has made a name for itself across the world. It's a signature Professor Zaz has put a spin on.
We're selling really, really unique pizzas that you can't get anywhere else, and we're really putting a lot of passion into what we do.
After a wild start, Litster says they're finding their groove, focusing on pizzas with only locally sourced ingredients and trying to become a staple in Windsor's pizza landscape.
It's like you want to laugh, but you want to cry at the same time, because like it's crazy.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a great weekend.